So, I recently watched Invincible, like the entire fucking thing, like from start to finish, and my god, is it much better than I even expected, right? So, I'm not a huge, like, superhero fan or anything like that, and I know, like, Invincible is, like, parodying, I knocked something, is parodying for, like, a bunch of, like, DC and Marvel and things like that, right? So I'm not a huge fan, even though I am deeply in love with Harley Quinn and completely obsessed with her. I'm not a huge fan of DC, I'm really just a huge fan of Harley. So I was going into this and I'm like, oh, it's probably going to be good. Like, I'd seen quite a lot of it, like, meme-wise through, like, shorts and Instagram and TikTok and things like that, right? I'd seen, like, different things about it, but I wasn't really expecting it to be fucking incredible. Turns out it's absolutely incredible, and I had a fucking fantastic time. Watching the entire thing, and I fell in love with Adam Eve, and I love her, and she's my everything, and go fuck yourself if you hate her. Also, the fucking immortal jokes are hilarious. So, I started watching it, and I'm like, okay, I'll watch episode 1, just to see how it is, and, because I was like, I'd seen, like, the obviously, fucking spoilers, I'd seen the dynamic between, Omni-Man and Nolan and Mark, and I thought it was just, like, super fascinating, super cool. So I thought, oh, I might as well, give it a quick look, give it a quick watch, see what's happening. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it enough to watch episode 2, and then it never fucking stopped. I'm just, like, I'm kind of, like, enamored by how good it is. I just didn't expect it. I really love the characters, like, again, the like, dynamic between Mark and Nolan. It's just fantastic. It was really upsetting to watch what Nolan did, like, at the start and then throughout and everything like that, and seeing how Mark reacted to that, and Debbie and everybody around. Also, I'm a huge fucking fan of Cecil. Cecil, my goat, my boy, never done anything wrong in his entire life, is always correct. But yeah, I, like, seeing... After watching all of it, and then, watching a few clips of season 1 again, and seeing how Omni-Man reacts to everything he's doing, wow, he really doesn't want to do that, huh? He really doesn't want to do what he's doing, and I think that when you watch the entire thing and you see, like, what Omni-Man does and the realization that he actually doesn't want to do this, and I think I realized it when Mark got his powers, and Nolan's reaction wasn't, oh, awesome, we can go take off, like, the set is what I've been waiting for. His reaction is like, are you sure? And then he gets, like, kind of annoyed and upset. And it's like, oh, he doesn't want this. And, like, there's, like, different, like, parts throughout of it, which he looks like he doesn't want it. Like, when he slaughters the guy into the globe, he afterwards just sits down and he just sighs and he's like, oh, because he didn't want to do it. I wouldn't call them... They might have been friends, I don't know, but I need to watch the Adam Eve special, because I haven't watched it yet, like, surprisingly. I know I adore Eve so much, but I haven't watched it. But seeing those, like, the dynamic, and seeing, like, just how underlying that Nolan's hatred for wanting to take over the planet had become, because when he arrived, right, he arrived and his only thing is take over the planet, right? That's his idea. But also, I've seen a lot of people be like, oh, but why didn't he take over the planet immediately? Well, there's only 50 fucking Viltrumites left. His literal plan is to go to the planet, have a kid, and then take over the planet with the kid. That's the idea. That's the plan, right? The plan isn't go take over the planet immediately. The plan is try and get a Viltrumite child and then take over the planet. That's the idea. So when he arrives, that's his goal. But you see him slowly over time, especially, like, in the flashback of the baseball game, you see that he just kind of realizes he kind of enjoys this more. And I've seen a clip from the Adam Eve special where Nolan gets mad that Debbie tells him what to do, but then he stops. Like, he gets angry enough to be like, I'm gonna kill them. But then he realizes, like, he just stops himself and he looks at himself and he's like, I love these people so much, like, more than I've ever loved anything, and I almost tried to hurt them. Why would I do that? But then he's like, but I shouldn't be feeling this way. And then, like, the same thing happens when Mark eventually goes to Thraxa, and he meets the Thraxans, and he meets that Mark, that Nolan has had another kid, and he grabs Mark, and he's like, why do I feel this way? I feel pity for these creatures that I've seen for my entire life as so much lower than me. What is this? And he just can't fathom it. And it's so incredible to watch him, like, go through this, like, slow deterioration from being a Viltrumite to being essentially a human, right? Even though he's not, and he's not going to be human, right? He kind of has the, like, the mentality. I think Debbie does a lot in helping him overcome, like, the Viltrumite, like, coding of, I've got to kill, right? I've got to just take over the entire planet, right? She kind of helps a lot with that while giving a kid and, like, showing how Earth works. And by the end of it, you see that, like, Nolan doesn't want to do this stuff. Like, he doesn't want to do it anymore. He just wants to sit down and have his family and his kid and be the superhero. That's eventually what he wants to do, but he knows he can't, and he knows he has to try. And I think that's a lot of the reason, why he kind of, like, air quotes, looked like he struggled a little bit, because we know that Nolan slaughtered the Guardians of the Globe, and we know he could have, like, he did that really well. But also, to me, it looked like he was holding back in a way. Oh, excuse me. It looked like he was holding back in a way. Like, he just didn't slaughter them as much as everyone thought he would. And then also with the Omni-Man, he just, like, he didn't put his all into it. Even with, I think Hail Mary is its name, like the big monster. He didn't put his all into that either. And then when it came to Mark, he still didn't put his all into it. He could have killed Mark very easily, but he tried to convince him otherwise. And by the end of it, when he does the think Mark, when he does that and he's like punching him, like he realizes this isn't what I want. I don't want to do this anymore. And then he gets to try and kills himself by throwing himself into a fucking black hole. I think that dynamic, what brung me into it, really showed. And I was really happy with it. And I really enjoyed season 2 as well, going on, still on the topic of, like, Nolan and Mark. On how they reacted and how, like, even though Nolan did all these horrible things, and even though Mark knows that Nolan is not a good person, he still, like, has that, like, but he's my dad, and I know he can be a good person. And so he, like, hugs him, but he's annoyed and angry, but he fights by his side. And he tries to stop them from taking Nolan. And I'm like, that is just so fucking awesome. And I love how he didn't just throw him away, that he still has that connection to his dad. I just fucking love it. And I think that's so fucking fascinating. And then obviously my boy Battle Beast, we're gonna put him in here, the GOAT, the greatest of all time. The guy who's just a fucking crazy power scaler, that guy. Love him. Fantastic. But Eve is the fucking best. She can kill all the Viltrumites. Fuck you. I've not read the comics, by the way, and I'm not planning on reading the comics. I have a friend who told me about the comics and how they are not as good as the show, and that the show does a lot of things better than the comics, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, I'm just not going to read the comics. Also, it's the early 2000s, and Debbie and Eve, who are like my two favorite characters, I really love Debbie. I think Debbie is fantastic, and Eve is obviously the love of my life. I think both of them are apparently written better in the show than the comic, so I'm just gonna not read the comic. I don't know, I can't also pay attention to comics for some reason. I don't fucking know. I just can't do it. But yeah, Debbie is one of my favorites because, like, I don't know, she's just such an, like, amazing person that she takes in Nolan's kid. She looks after Mark. Like, obviously she's, like, fucking, she's his mother. She obviously has to do that. Or not has to, but she does it, right? And, she does it, but then she also, like, keeps herself grounded in the idea of, like, I am Nolan's wife, and even though I'm Omni-Man's wife, I am still going to do my own thing and still going to enjoy my own things. And I'm going to teach Mark I'm not going to let, like, Nolan be a Viltrumite. I'm going to raise Mark to be a human. And that is what saves the planet, right? Mark growing up to be someone who values life and values humanity in the Earth in a way that Nolan didn't, but now is beginning to understand, saved the planet. It fucking saved the planet. I think that's just so fucking cool. That Debbie was at the heart of all of it. That Debbie kept Mark grounded and kept him being a human, not a Viltrumite. That is what saved the Earth. I think it's fucking cool that he does that. I think it's really awesome that Debbie's just the fucking GOAT, and she's the best of all time, and I love her. Eve, I fucking love Eve. Oh, she's so cute. She's so cute. And everything for ginger girls, I don't know why. She's cute, and she's fun, and she's so fucking cool and strong. And, like, she does her own thing. And I love characters that are, like, show that women are strong and things like that. And are strong and are confident. She's confident in herself. She's confident in her abilities. She's fucking broken as all shit. She's fun. She's just super enjoyable to be around and like see that she is like on screen and watch everything she goes through. I love the dynamic she has with her parents. I love the story around it. Not that she hasn't, but I love that like she even like just the idea that her dad like has this like sort of like regret almost of having air quotes having Eve. Like there's a like this sort of regret by the fact that she has this power. And also I think it really shows off like kind of toxic masculinity in that sense, where like he's trying to be like the breadwinner of the household. He's trying to be like air quotes, he's trying to be a man, and but that's like toxic masculinity that like drives him to like push his child away from him. I think that's like really like it shows a lot of what happens in the real world as well when this sort of thing happens, where toxic masculinity gets in the way when you're trying to be a man. That gets in the way of like, it just gets in your way of having like a family and things like that, because you're just a toxic asshole and you don't understand that. And I think that Eve like having this power to just like do whatever she wants, she can give everybody money, she can do all these incredible things, but like her dad wants to be the breadwinner, and that forces this sort of like separation between them. I think is fascinating. It's such a cool like dynamic to have in a show, because it really like represents what a lot of people feel within their home environment. And I think seeing that on Invincible and seeing Eve and how she like goes through it is really awesome. Also Eve battling the idea that like her dad and her mum are like, oh, but you have Rex. Rest in fucking peace. Rest in peace, my fucking glorious king Rexplode. Rest in peace, you are the fucking true goat. I call people goats all the time, but this man is fucking... There's a reason we all call him my glorious king Rexplode. He is just incredible. Like the trajectory Rex goes on through the show, from cheating on Eve with like Dupla bitch, and then fucking going on and like just being an asshole, and then he realizes like, shit, I'm a fucking asshole. And so he changes his entire fucking dynamic and just becomes like just incredible as a human, and then eventually like sacrifices himself for the greater good. 10 out of fucking 10. Brilliant. He won to fucking sell out of Viltrumite. Suck it. That's my fucking glorious king Rexplode. I love Rex. I was like super against Rex. I called him an asshole and I'm like, he's such a piece of shit, fuck Rex. But like that was fair because he was an asshole in the start. But then he just becomes awesome, and I'm like, he becomes like actually like really good friends with Mark. And like the fight they have with the two normal guys, I forget their names, the twins. One that he has when he has the fights with them and they're just talking to each other, and he's like, even though he dated Eve, he's like, dude, you gotta go get with Eve. Like, you two are great for each other and you would be awesome, and I'm looking out for you and I want my friend to be happy. Oh, it was so cool. Oh, rest in peace. I miss him so much. Though, even though I loved the show so much, and I loved Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, there are a few issues with it. The power scaling's weird. The power scaling can get a little weird. Like, Mark can beat the shit out of the Omni-Man, but Nolan can't, but I addressed that already. And there's a few points in it where I'm like, oh, that was a little weird. Like, why can the Guardians of the Globe, why can Immortal not beat up the fucking Mauler twins? Like, he could before, can't now. But, like, there are explanations for this kind of stuff, which is really cool. But, like, it's not clear why he can't. It's just kind of like, fucking fraud mortal. He is a fucking fraud, by the way. Absolute fraud mortal over here. He's like, I'm a big strong man, and gets his ass beat by Marg, ass beat by the Maulers, ass beat by literally fucking everyone. He gets fucking one shot by Omni-Man, he doesn't, but he gets his ass beat by Omni-Man, and it's like, come on, dude. And then he retires with fucking Dupla bitch, and they're both like, oh, but I want to have, I'm retiring. but I died a lot. Yeah, everybody else did as well. Like, let's be honest here. You don't be like, I put my life on like constant. Like, yeah, so did everybody else. Like, you ain't special duplicate. Sorry, I have a lot of. I hate it so much. And then Fraud Mortal. Oh god, the memes on Fraud Mortal is so funny. Oh, I was literally cry laughing in bed. I was just so fucking funny. But yeah, like again, also the animation. All right, hot take. I don't think the animation's that bad. Like a lot of people trashing the animation, but like, I don't care. Like when I watch the animation, there's never a point where it pulls me out and I'm like, oh, that's bad. I'm always watching it and I'm like, this is good. Like, it's not as good as season 1, right? It's definitely been a down, like, grade in animation quality, but that's fucking Amazon, you know, fuck Amazon. But, like, I don't think it's that bad. I think it's actually still really good. And I think the animation studio really shows off what they can do, especially with the fight between Mark and Conquest at the end of season 3. Oh my god. Ah, god, the animation quality was fucking stellar. Absolutely stellar. I loved it. I was losing my mind. And then Eve died and I literally like lost my mind. I legitimately started crying. I'm like I was like screaming at the fucking like my monitor. I'm like screaming at the monitor. I'm like, Mark, kill that bitch. Fucking kill Conquest. Kill him, Mark, kill him. And I'm just like, I'm like losing my mind, like begging Mark to kill Conquest. And then when he screams like, Cecil, I need you. I'm like, oh no. Broke my heart. This show is incredible. Oh my god, I love it. Oh, I'm so excited for season 4, like next year. Oh my god, I'm so excited. They said they wanted to have 8 seasons. I am so here. I will watch every single episode. I'm so behind on the times, but my god, do I love Invincible, and I would recommend it to literally anyone on the planet. Please go watch Invincible. It is incredible. I love it. It's just fantastic in fucking every single way. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. But yeah, thank you so much for watching the video. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.